Welcome to the Sacramento History Museum. It's that time again. I'm Delta Pickmellow, and this is the last Monday of the month, and therefore, it's story time. So, the tale that I'm going to tell you today is an old folk tale. It comes to us from India, and it was retold by David Novak, the version that I'm telling you. It's called The Three Dolls, and it begins, you know the words, once upon a time. There was a king who considered himself to be the greatest and most clever of all kings and queens around. In fact, to prove that, he insisted that anyone in the kingdom, bring to him a riddle or a puzzle to solve, and it was to be nothing easy. Well, after a few weeks, a package arrived for the king. Inside the package were 3 beautiful dolls. They were exactly alike, one to the other, and there was a slip of paper in the box that read, "If you are such a great and clever king as you proclaim, tell the difference between these 3 dolls." Well, looking at the 3 dolls and smiling to himself, the king was excited to have this riddle to solve. So he examined each one very carefully, picking them up and looking at them this way and that way, examining every bit that he could see. But finally, he yanked his hair in frustration, for he could see no difference between the dolls at all. In coloring, form, and feature, down to the most minute detail, they were exactly alike. Well, I am a great and clever, not to mention wise, ruler, and a wise ruler will often seek counsel of a wise elder. An elder who will tell him and help him in such matters as this to solve these kinds of problems. I have such an elder. So when the king called, the elder, the wise elder, did indeed walk into the courtroom, but it was a tiny, wizened, wrinkled, old person, man or woman, nobody could remember. So the wise elder bowed before the king when in reality they weren't sure if it was the bend in the elder's back or an actual bow. "Oh, your majesty, in what wise service may I be for you today?" "Elder, I have before me a riddle. 3 dolls, exactly alike, one to the other. In your wisdom, tell me the difference between them." Well, the wise elder looked at the 3 dolls and did exactly as the king had done, picking each one up and examining it very carefully, turning it this way and that way, trying to determine if there were any difference between the dolls. Well, finally, after a good deal of consternation and a great deal of hemming and hawing, the wise elder thought to tell the king that this was not worth anyone's time. And the wise elder thought to tell the king a few other things, but wisely the elder said nothing. For you see, it is wise to keep one's thoughts to oneself, especially in the presence of a powerful king. The king sent the elder away. "Well, that elder is of no use to me. That one is too shrewd. But I am a great and clever, not to mention wise ruler, and a wise ruler will often consult a fool. Yes, a fool, because it is said that fools will rush in where others fear to tread.
I have such a fool. Well, when the fool did come to the courtroom, he did indeed rush in, and he slapped the king right on the back and said, well, hello there, your hiney. How can I be of service to you? Hey, how about a magic trick maybe, or a little sleight of hand, or maybe some 3-card Monty? I got it. Juggling. I just learned how to juggle 5 rings while balancing an apple on my nose. Enough, fool. I have before me 3 dolls, exactly like the other, one to each other. I want you to tell me the difference between them. Well, the fool didn't listen to what the king had to say. Not another word of it. The fool just saw 3 dolls and thought, 3 to juggle. He started to pick up the dolls when the king dismissed the fool immediately. That fool is of no use to me. That fool is certainly a fool. But I am a great and clever, not to mention wise ruler. And a wise ruler will often employ the services of a storyteller, for it is said that sometimes words of wisdom can be hidden into the stories they tell, and I have such a storyteller. Well, when the storyteller entered the courtroom before the king, she bowed with a great flourish and said, Your Majesty, how can I be of service to you? How about a fable with a lesson from the ages, or a folk tale that's been passed down from generation to generation to generation. Oh, no, I have it, a recitation entirely in verse of all of your glorious deeds and accomplishments. Enough, storyteller, don't get started. I have before me a riddle. Ooh, a riddle, you say, like a riddle of the riddle of the Sphinx, or perhaps the riddle of the little man who spun the straw into gold. Yes, a riddle. I have before me 3 dolls, each one exactly like the other. Now, you are a storyteller, so tell me the difference between them. But the storyteller looked at the dolls and immediately said, No difference between the dolls can be seen. That much I already knew. Yes, but Your Majesty, if no difference can be seen, then the answer must be like that of the story of the 3 caskets, whose outward show greatly differed from that with which they contained. Therefore, likewise and moreover, the answer must lie within. Very interesting. But how will you show these differences? Well, Your Majesty, there are many ways to reach inside of a person, but the way that I am most familiar with is through the ears. So, if you will permit me, and he plucked a hair from the king's head. Ow! How dare you! I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but you will see it was most necessary. Then the storyteller picked up the first doll, and he took the hair, and he threaded it in the ear. It went in, and in, and in, until it was gone. Your Majesty, this doll must be wise, for you see, what it hears, it keeps to itself. Yeah, that's interesting. Very good, very good. Now what of the other 2? Well, if you will permit me. Ow! Now, the storyteller picked up the second doll, and he threaded the hair into the doll's ear. The hair went in, and in, and in, and then it came out the other side. Oh, Oh, Your Majesty, this doll is obviously a fool, for what goes in one ear comes right out the other. Ah, very good indeed. Now, what of the third doll? So he pulled another hair from the king's head. Ow! And he then picked up the third doll. And he thread the hair into the doll's ear. The hair went in and in and in, but it did not come out the other side, nor did it stay inside altogether. As the hair went into the doll's ear, it came out the doll's mouth. Ah, Your Majesty, why this doll is a storyteller. For what it hears, it eventually tells. Well, very good. Bravo, bravo, storyteller. You have solved the riddle of the three dolls. But you have left me with another riddle to solve. What is that, Your Majesty? Well, you see, when you put the hair into the doll's ear, it was a straight hair. But when it came out of the doll's mouth, it was curled and twisted. Why is that? Oh, Your Majesty, you see, no storyteller worth her name would ever tell a tale exactly as she heard it. Oh, no. We must all add a twist and a curl of our own to the retelling of any tale. And so I have done in telling this tale for you. Next month on Museum Mondays, come back and join us. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, baseball. And then at the end of the month, I'll have another story for you.